Okay, I want to talk about the Oxford 3000, the vocabulary list of 3000 words that all students need to learn when they study English. And the reason why we use it is because these words are really important as you study English. Now, we're going to look at how to use the Oxford 3000 word list as your personal vocabulary record. So we would do, first of all, a checking to see if a new word is in the list. So when you're reading something and you find a word that you think you need to remember, you can check if it's in this list. And then we will look at how to add definitions, how to add example sentences, how to look at word family words and collocations and chunks. Okay? So let's say you're reading about the classroom of the future, and you can see in this picture that there are some words that are highlighted. For example, social networking and search engine and blogs. Okay, so let's say we want to look at social networking. So if you open your dictionary, the Oxford Word Power Dictionary with Arabic, and we look up social, we see that there are 4 different definitions. The first one says concerning the relations between people and groups of people. And then number 2 is a bit different. It talks about the rank of people in society. Number 3 talks about meeting people and enjoying yourself. And then number 4 is about animals living and looking for food together. Okay, so if you go back to your Oxford 3000 list and you click on the little spanner at the top right corner and then click find, that's the way to find the word. So we're looking for social, so you type social in the search bar and there it is. And you can see that it's in the list, which means it's an important word to learn. And you can also see that it's a B1 word, which means that it belongs to the B1 group in the CIFAR system. And it's an adjective. So we remember that one of the meanings was concerning the relations between people and groups of people. So you type that in the first box. You click on the definition box and you type the definition there. Now maybe you ask yourself, why do I type it? Why don't I just copy and paste? And you can obviously try and copy and paste, but the advantage of typing is that you actually are more active when you type the definition, and it makes it easier for you to remember it. Now let's go back. We saw that there was another meaning to do with meeting people and enjoying yourself. Like she has a busy social life, which is the example there. So maybe you want to include that meaning as well. So this is what you can do if you have 2 meanings. You just type number 1 before the first definition, and then the second one you type a number 2. So here we have 2 definitions. So the first definition of social is concerning the relations between people or groups of people, and the second one is to do with meeting people and enjoying yourself. So that's working with the definition part of the Oxford 3000 word list. Next, we want to look for a good example sentence. Now, why do you want to have an example sentence? Well, the reason for that is that it's good to look at the sentence where the word is used normally and naturally, because that will help you understand how to use it. So here it says, in the 1980s were a period of social change. So when you have a sentence like that, it's ready to go, it's short, why not use it? Because you know it's correct, instead of making up your own one. So in the example sentence column, I write that sentence. The 1980s were a period of social change. Okay, so that's the example. Next, there are other parts of speech involved. If you scroll down in the dictionary, we see that there is an adverb, socially, so we can add that. And we also see in the column on the left that there are some collocations. Collocations means that there are two words that go together very often. So we have, for example, social networking, which is the word combination we saw in the reading. Social science, social security, social services. Okay? So in the third column, called collocations and word family, we can type things like socially, which is an adverb. And we can also write some collocations down that are important. Social problems, social networking. Now, if you click on social networking in the dictionary, we also get a definition for the collocation. It says communication with people who share your interests using a website or other service on the internet. So if you want to add an example sentence, you can do that. We've done that in brackets here. Collocation, social networking, in brackets, communication with people who share your interest using a website or other internet services. Okay. The fourth column in the Oxford 3000 list is the date. So it's very simple to use. You click on the date, which is that green little 10, because it's June the 10th today. And as soon as you click on that, you get the option of clicking on today. So you just click on that and it enters today's date. Now, why do we enter the date? Well, there are two reasons. Number one, it will help you remember when you learned the words or when you looked it up. But number two, when you sort the list later on, you can organize all your words that you learn on one day and put them all in one place. So we're going to look at that a bit later. Now let's go back to the reading we were looking at. Let's look at the other word. Let's look at search engine. Okay, so now again, we're looking for the word search. So here we have a definition. Examine something or somebody carefully because you're looking for something. And it's both a verb and a noun. So we just use that definition, put that in the definition column. And then we can look at the example sentences that we find in the dictionary. For example, the police searched the areas for clues. So this is a sentence where we actually use the word searched in a normal sentence. So let's use that one. The police searched the area for clues. So we just type that into the example sentence column for that word. Now let's scroll down a bit in the dictionary and we see that there is an idiom: in search of something or in somebody. In search of somebody or something. And the example sentence there is: the early explorers went in search of gold. Now this is an idiom, it's an expression. There's also an adjective: searching. The customs officers asked a lot of searching questions about your trip. They're trying to find out the truth. So this is information that we can add. So let's go back. So we're adding searching as an adjective, and we add some collocations: search engine, search party. And then you can use the word chunk because there are different types of phrases. There are phrasal verbs, there are idioms, there are fixed expressions. And one word that is good to use is just chunk, because that means several words used together normally. So in search of somebody or something, and then you can add an example sentence. She moved to Spain in search of happiness, just to help you remember how to use the word. So again, you add the date by clicking on the date in the green area and then today, and you can quickly enter the date. Now, once you entered all the words you want to enter into your Oxford word list, then you need to select the date column, and then you click sort. So you see at the top there, you have different choices, and you click on sort. Next, you get two choices, and you want to sort ascending, which means you sort it from 1, 2, 3, ABC, and also in terms of date. Okay, so click on sort ascending. And what happens then is that the words that you have put in, found and entered information for now, jumps up to the top, closest to the ones you've done before. Okay, And if you want to know how to quickly get back to the top of a numbers list, you just double click with your finger on the time on the clock at the top. You see it says 9:52 p.m. Okay, so if you double click that when you're in the middle of the list, because the Oxford 3000 is a very long list, it would just jump straight up to the top. Now next, because you typed quite a lot, you realize that you can't see in all what you typed. So what you need to do is you need to select the new lines or the new rows that you've entered, and then you choose fit. You choose fit, and then everything that you've written will then be shown. Okay, so here you have all the information you put together about the word search and social. Okay, now let's say you find a word that is not in the Oxford 3000. Now the Oxford 3000 is there for you to help you focus on the words that you really need to learn. But sometimes you find a word that you think, yes, this is an important word, I want to learn it. So if it's not in the list, what do you do? Well, we've given you an empty list which has nothing in it, and that's a list you can use. We call it extra words. This is a list you can use if you find words you want to remember and you want to enter information for, but where you can't find it in the Oxford 3000. So here we have an example of blog, because blog is not one of the 3000 words, but it is an important word. So here we have definition, a website that belongs to a person and where they write about things that interest them, organized like a diary. Actually, this word is short for weblog. You have an example sentence, Tom is writing such an interesting blog, and then you have some information in the collocations and word family column. Blogger is a noun, but it's a person who is writing blogs, writing a blog. Blogging is a noun. It's the activity of writing blogs, and then you have a couple of collocations there. Blog post, which means the entry on a blog. Okay? So when you're using your Oxford 3000, it will grow, and as you see at the top right corner, it will tell you how much of the list you have filled in so far. It goes obviously from 0 to 100%. And it might move quite slowly, but for each word you learn, you know that you learn words that are important to study for you. So remember that the Oxford 3000 is a great focus tool when you're learning vocabulary, because it helps you decide if a new word you see is one you should focus on and that you should learn. Okay, good luck.